Welcome back, everyone. This is part 2 of the current day, which is, I think, day 7. I did go over just by a minute or two on the previous part, which is part 1. You didn't miss anything. I'm just going to go over what I said. Basically, these tops here, price has come to these tops, weekly tops, as you can see right there. You wouldn't buy right here, just like that. You wouldn't buy. You'd wait for price action to occur. So a simple price action move would be a break, a retest of these of this area, and then a nice move towards the upside. But from previous data, you could see the move actually failing plenty of times. So what's not to say that it's going to fail this time? That's the reason why we wait. We don't just jump in because we've seen a minor pullback, and then if we see a confirmation on the daily, no, that doesn't work like that with me. I need to wait and see confirmation. I need to wait and see proper confirmation, and to me it's going to be something, it's going to be a strong break, and then it's going to be a pullback and a retest of this area with a nice rejection. So when I get a better example, I will show you so you can see better. Actually, we could just use this here. Just as it pulled back, you could see it found support, and then price moved up. Okay, we broke this high, and then price come back down again, trying to test here, and prices were rejected. Okay, and then we ended up getting another buy signal, which enabled us to take the trade and move higher. So that is what we're looking for. That would be a telltale sign of prices moving up. So we'll wait for this to occur, and if it looks good, we'll enter it. If it doesn't, then I don't want to be messing with it until it's made a move in either direction, actually. But it needs to be strong enough for us to be confident to enter a trade and know that possibly it's going to go that way. So moving on to Euro JPY. Currently this pair is pulling back on the weekly, so I'm planning on waiting for some sort of bullish candle to form, and then see what this looks like on the daily, because you see this buy signal here that occurred, and you may be aware, I think, let's just, yeah, you see this one here, one trade that I lost last week, you can see there, £4.38. Okay, now that happened because I failed to observe the weekly. Okay, I didn't pay as much attention like I should have. It reached those tops, and I failed to observe a retest rejection and then a strong buy signal. Now you'd be thinking, well, that's what you got here, didn't you? No, because look on the weekly. Okay, weekly pulled back. Okay, the move actually occurred much earlier here. Okay, move actually finished up here, and now this is the pullback. Okay, this is the pullback. You'd need this high to be broken to get into this trade again. Okay, or you'd need to be above the previous high to be able to take that trade. So what I mean by previous high is if that price action on the daily occurred above this level, then that would have been a valid a buy signal. But I failed to observe that last week, and I paid for it with £4 38 pence, I think it was. So this is what happens when you're not trading with your eyes open. So make sure, guys, you do your analysis on a higher time frame, and make sure you're looking at everything properly and ticking off all the boxes. You got one box that's not ticked, don't enter the trade. Okay, so we are currently waiting for this market to develop a bullish candle on the weekly to show us that, you know, prices are going to move higher. So we'll need it to actually close above the weekly high. If that does not happen, then we may see a sell-off, and we may get into a sell. But currently here, I don't want to get into a sell. I don't want to get into a buy, because I believe that price can go either way here. So we need to wait a little longer to see where price goes. Okay, moving on to the AUD USD. So this trade, AUD USD, when did I get into this trade? On the 29th. So I think this was, when was this now? 31st today, Saturday, yeah, so I think this was Friday we got into this trade. I got into this trade on Friday after seeing the price actually closing above the weekly previous lower high, as you can see here. So I waited for a confirmation buy signal on the daily, which I ended up getting, and I entered a buy signal. Now I've left my take profit at 2-1, and I'm hoping that after I get halfway through the trade at 1-1, I will move my stop loss up, and then I will move my take profit target to this weekly high here, and then hopefully we hit it. So that's my plan for AUD USD. We will wait and see what happens. Now moving on to the next pair, GBP USD. Okay, so GBP USD, I have placed a sell order. I placed it today. I think it was placed exactly 14 minutes after the market opened. So why did I do this? I did this because on the weekly, after doing my analysis, I could see that the price has broken lower than this support level here. Price has moved significantly below both of the MAs, and then when you look at this here, this pullback, and then a rejection candle, and then you get this bearish rejection candle here. You know, that just that's just telling me that, you know, this price is just going to move down because it's closed below the MA, and the previous candle wasn't a bullish candle, this candle wasn't a bullish candle. So what it's looking like to me is a trend line, as you can see there, respecting these prices, and maybe price actually wants to go down to this resistance, which has turned into support now. Maybe it wants to come down and retest here. So I waited for a signal to occur, and it has done. Now I think on the week before last, I think it was last week actually, we got into a trade for a GBP USD, and what happened, let me see. Yeah, so you can see the loss here, £5.51p, and I actually went in for a buy. I went in for a buy because I didn't analyze the market properly on the weekly, and I ended up buying here. Now if you look, these are lower lows. This was a lower low as well. This wasn't a lower high. Sorry, this wasn't it wasn't a higher high. If it was a higher high, then maybe the buy trade would have been valid, but it was a lower low. You can see there. So the high is lower than this high, and I entered here, and then this massive bearish candle on Friday took me out, and it broke this low right here. So that's just telling me that price is actually wanting to go in the opposite direction. So that's what we might see, hopefully, this week. Moving on to the next pair. Sorry, yeah. So as I was saying, for the GBP USD, if price does come next to my take profit, then I would do the same. I'm going to move it down to right to this top. If it moves more closer, I'll move it down to this support area here. Moving on to CAD JPY. So CAD JPY, you can see here this resistance zone area. Price is there now. So I'm expecting price to either pull back up to here, and then we may get a nice buy entry. Other than that, I do not want to enter here for a buy unless it breaks through quite strong break and then pulls back and gives us a nice buy signal. So currently on the daily, this is what it's looking like. All of the price action is below that high. So realistically, I want to wait and see what happens. You can see the space between here. So I don't want to risk buying right at the top. I want to wait and see what happens. If it does produce another valid support area here, then we will go for a buy without hesitating. But currently I don't want to do that. Okay guys, I'm going to stop the video here, and I'll see you on part 3.